Damn it. You should have said something. Anyways, thanks for joining another episode of Playing the Artist, weekly web show where we talk about just being artists. I'm Antoine Marchildon, and joined always is Alex. Alex, take it away.
Hey there. Welcome to Playing the Artist. Man, thank you for parking your meat wagons one more time this week and opening those hungry ear holes because we're going to satiate those wide open ear holes with some tabletop RPG talk, some 3D printing talk, some maybe you're a crafter and you want to start incorporating 3D printing into your game. Maybe we'll talk about something like that. But it'll have to be after we get to our topic this week because I just went to PAX and I had a great time at PAX. I am so worn thin from PAX. I really did not want to wake up. I mean, I never want to wake up on Tuesdays, but this week I super did.
You want to tell me all your fun things?
Yeah, it's just it's a lot of waking up early to get to the show early and then staying up late because there's you're always planning what your kind of party for the evening is, right? Because there's so many that you really want to find the best one, and I don't know, there's some obscure ones, so you have to do a little bit of research during the day sometimes to find out where that is.
Wait, parties? So there's after parties for
oh yeah,
things?
100%. Yeah. The big event this year was the Facebook event, which usually is from what I've never been to one before, but from what I hear, they're always they're notorious for just having an open bar and just going all out. I mean,
they got the money.
Deep pockets, right? So they're really awesome, I guess. Yeah, I would say that. They throw a good party for everybody and everything's, free. A lot of people pay a lot to get there, so those kind of bonuses are great. And so that's why I'm a little bit raspy maybe and a little bit more lethargic than usual. But how are you feeling today? You seem chipper and bright. And
it's because I'm not wearing a black hat and a black T-shirt. That's why.
Yeah.
This thing going on. Here, I'll be proper. What's going on with me? Geez, this week was a little bit of a slug for me, but
slug. No. Are you working right through the weekend too?
Sometimes, it depends. But this weekend I didn't really touch anything because I was so burnt out. So once again I burnt myself out again.
Yeah.
But I'm back on top, sort of. Back in the mix of things because I only have 24 days left to make sure I get everything done.
Yeah, I saw regular updates from while I was in Seattle. I was noticing on Instagram just about every day something new.
Yeah. Well, there won't be any more of those because I don't have anything new rendered out.
Well, you got all week, and that's cool, man. I didn't see any 3D printed stuff at PAX at all. I think I saw one guy. He was kind of a very he looked like he was in sort of a startup board game company, and one of his dice trays was for sure 3D printed. But aside from that, I didn't see one person selling 3D printed
really
miniature or
wow. I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
But what about did you go to a board game alley or anything like that? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. They had kind of there was a section of the event was dedicated just to board games, and even beyond that, there were board game sort of booths sprinkled about the main hall, as well as the indie zone, indie game expo. There were separate. There were so many. There were just so many different expo halls that you could enter during a day, and you really were trekking around from one to the next in kind of a cycle as you kind of get bored with one and meet up with people in the other. And each one of them had a bit of a board game presence. And then there was, of course, like the dedicated board game area. But yeah, there was a lot of cool miniatures there for sure. And there was one guy, not a lot of terrain. The one terrain I saw wasn't even like physical models. It was like this guy who he was selling. Forgive me, I don't really remember the name of his booth because I wasn't super interested in it. It's totally a bit different than what we're into, but he was selling like cutouts of like almost like really good quality, but cardboard looking kind of cutouts that interlock and create sort of like 3D shapes, sort of like those Puzz 3Ds, if you remember.
That's a very common thing in tabletop wargaming and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's a type of like particle board that's laser cutted, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And from like 10 feet back, I was like, oh shit, there's some miniature terrain going, like some custom war game stuff. But then I got close and I was like, oh, it's cardboard cutouts. I was interested in it because it was like something I'd never seen before.
Was it cardboard or was it particle board that was laser cutted?
I don't know if it was like plastic or if it was like
what was the detail on it?
The detail, like of the grooves in the. I definitely had a cross section that was sort of like.
But like, what I'm saying is like, what was the detail on the like surface? Was it like
well painted, printed imagery?
Oh, okay. So it probably was cardboard, because usually the particle board stuff is like a lot thicker and it's just kind of like whatever kind of design.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. This was like some sort of like cardboard with like finish on it, like some sort of like.
But there was a printed design on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was cool. It wasn't really my jam, but oh well, good on them. And you're able to kind of build a lot with a little, so that was kind of dope.
Yeah.
But I did have some good discussions though with people about
miniature stuff.
Miniature, yeah. I met at the Flying.
Please tell me you got business cards and stuff.
I did. I got. Not a lot of people had business cards because it wasn't really most people had like flyers, you know.
Oh, okay.
They're really not. I mean, you know, I don't know. Some people are there to kind of network in that way, but a lot of people are there to push their merch, right? To push their their business and get it out to fans. And I think that was more of like a flyer kind of situation where you give somebody like, half a page with a lot of detailed, like just product information on it.
Yeah.
And but I did get a couple business cards from some people. I found a guy who's, I'm always looking for, people to print the Magic the Gathering mats, like at a nice quality. And so because I had my map printed here, and it was kind of some things could have been better for sure. So I talked to this guy, who was at this show, and explained some of the issues I was having. He was like, "Oh, that should be no problem at all." So I'm gonna try and do another. I'm gonna do some tweaks because we talked about some tweaks, and then I'm gonna follow up and do another test print of that to see how that goes. And then as I was saying, I met the art director from Flying Frog Games, I believe, and they make games. Their big game is Shadow over Shadow. Is it the Shadow over Brimstone or the Brimstone Shadow? If you Google those two words, you'll find it. Like if he had a lot of miniatures in his games. His games are pretty interesting, and like the art that goes into them, like in my opinion, because usually cards have board games.
It's a card game.
Yeah, it's sort of it's like a card game.
Because I thought you were talking about it. I thought you were talking about a video game right now.
What's that?
I thought you were talking about a video game right now.
No. This was this is a board game. It's card game, but it's also a miniature dungeon explorer game, and there's tons of different. It's like huge. There's a lot of different variants of it, and so he had a lot of miniatures in his that are just for his game.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting to find out, like, I guess like the difference of the way you prepare a model for mass production, like injection molding versus just like a 3D print.
Mm-hmm.
The optimizations really are quite different. So, and it made me think, like, because one of the limitations of having your whatever piece it is injection molded is like any undercut you have from any angle, you need to cut that out and slice that in a way that you can kind of print it in a very like I don't know, in a very like simple way from left to right, so that you can mold it. I'd have a hard time explaining the exact limitations without a picture, but it's like basically you can only have like a height map in one way or the other, and anytime you have a detail that could get that's like an overhang or like an undercut that can get caught in the mold as you're pulling it out, because he said that the molds are like
Is he making the molds in house, like in
no
his?
no he gets them made in China,
Of
and he
course,
said
yeah.
he has to really test his models, because if he sends like an order out to the factory and there's any hiccup in any way, they just change the model. They'll just like modify the sculpt just to get it through their pipeline.
Yeah, for sure.
But sometimes he comes back with all these kinds of surprises, and it's just because it was like difficult to.
Yeah. Well, when you look at like WizKid stuff and just like
Yeah.
stereotypical, like just kind of dungeon minis, like
Yeah.
like D&D minis and stuff like that, they're all put in different pieces, right? Like they're usually
Yeah.
made out of 2 or 3 pieces that are just like glued together.
Yeah. The more detail, in a way, the more detail you want, the more
Yeah, you got to
mid-level
separate
detail,
everything.
you got to split it out.
Yeah, I've noticed that with like
It's
some.
fine. Those Warhammer pieces, that's why they look so good. They come, in like, they're just, I don't know how many fucking pieces per character or so, but
They come about in 5 pieces,
Yeah.
5 or 6. Sometimes they'll just be a solid piece.
Yeah. Well, that would be cool. But yeah, a lot of the characters, that's what you notice, like with a lot of those injection molded, they're like a guy with a staff, and like they're all kind of like printed in like all the details kind of from one angle, because there's just less parting you'll have to do. It's like, oh, if I just make him kind of posed in like a line, then the molding process becomes so much easier, right? So I think a lot of miniatures just go down that path.
Have the same kind of profile.
Yeah, yeah, because the more three-dimensional your object is, the more likely you are to require slicing and parting and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm starting to think, like, there are pros and cons to like um, injection molded figures, and like I don't even know. I used to think that, like, oh, if you wanted the highest quality figure, that you want an injection molded model. You wanted like a cast, or like a resin cast, or a plastic cast, or some sort of like a metal casted model.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I don't know. It might be. I think the most detailed and like high fidelity, coolest models you can get might be from like resin printing, because you can have those. You can have undercuts over undercuts if you wanted to, if that's your jam, and I don't know, and the quality is really high. And another thing you won't get with a resin print is that I saw a lot on really high quality miniatures that were there, like miniatures that I thought were like looking amazing. It's like they'll have like a sword or a staff, and you're getting like curving or bending in one way. Like it's so rare.
Yeah, it's just the material they have, right? It's just
Yeah, it's prone to a little bit of give in one way or the other on like those thin pieces. And
you need that because they'll snap.
yeah, well, yeah, if you're printing in a material that is, or casting, I guess, in a material that has some flexibility to it. Yeah, that's great. But yeah, I don't know.
It
I
depends
think,
on the design too, right? Like
yeah.
if you're
Oh, yeah.
making like D&D stuff, like you're trying to like really get the scale like pretty close to like a human proportion.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, you're gonna have to need something that's a little more flexible because swords and axes and
Yeah,
spears and
those are
stuff like
crazy
that.
to thin at that
Yeah,
scale.
but if it's like if it's Warhammer stuff, like it's really over exaggerated. What are you kicking things?
I accidentally kicked my desk. And it
Yeah,
smells
like
like,
Warhammer stuff's like really over exaggerated, like axes and swords and like big hands and big feet and
yeah, it lends itself
yeah, it lends
to
itself a
that
lot
process a bit better. And it looks
better.
great.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, this made me want to kind of try resin printing more. But if you have a Kickstarter or something and you gotta send like thousands of units out there, then for sure you have no other option other than
Yeah,
to.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
But
um, yeah, I think you still need to make some more researching. Make
yeah,
some more researching.
make some
Do some
more
more
research.
researching. Um,
Yeah.
I need to send a list of like a couple miniature makers that I follow on Instagram, and
Hmm.
like all their stuff is all like 3D modeled, right? And
Hmm.
I don't know, like you might have to just send an email and be like, hey, what's who do you go to, for these kind of things,
Hmm. Like
Yeah,
people
some,
for who do like physical
yep,
reproductions.
yep,
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm sure there's plenty of options out there. Like there's probably plenty of studios that do it now, or factories or whatever you want to say.
yeah.
See if I can
It
open.
depends like which kind of market you want to go for, right? Because the if you're making more for miniature based stuff, like you want like high end miniatures, like you
Yeah.
would probably want to use a different kind of material than what you want to use for mass producing for a board game or for like D&D minis,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because usually those are a lot cheaper and you have to make a bunch of them because you're selling them in a board game and you're shipping them off. But if they're like high end, like one of a kind, like special kind of thing, right? Usually
Yeah.
people will shell out a little bit more money because like the investment they're gonna like put into it with their artistry is like there, right? So they'll it's like buying a more expensive canvas or a more expensive paint or like a more expensive tool
Mhm.
towards your hobby, right? So they'll dish out the money. So you know, they
Yeah.
hope the quality is higher there, right? So it depends what like like I said, like who you want to kind of target. Speaking of targets, I noticed
Okay.
something
Cool.
on
Cool.
Kickstarter uh, not too long ago, like literally like 3 days ago, and I was just kind of looking at Kickstarter stuff. Sorry, I'm stuttering like crazy. Kickstarter stuff and just looking at tabletop like board games and whatnot, and there's a market out there for metal coins,
Really?
like fantasy
Metal.
metal coins. And I saw so many of these like different coins with like little characters on them, like D&D characters, kind of inspired, almost like Magic the Gathering, or like monsters and aliens and like different things like that. And on the back ends, like they would have like a number with a little design or whatever. And some of them didn't even have a design really. They just had like a picture of like a character doing something on the coin. You know what I mean? Um, and I was just like, this is very strange. So I'm trying to look into what people are using these coins for, and they use it for like, like role playing in the game, of like a D&D game or whatever.
So like, is
People
it like
collect them.
my your fantasy world has its own currency and it looks like this?
I guess so, something like
Yeah.
that, or like it's an item, like a special coin item kind of thing.
Hmm.
Uh, and or some people collect them because they're just like really. There's just a lot of them is like
Yeah.
it's really good art,
Well,
right?
yeah, they're just cool. I mean, there's
Um,
also IRL coin collectors out there.
Yeah.
The commemorative coin. If you stayed up till past midnight watching TV as a youth, you'll know there's a commemorative coin market out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was
Earnhardt.
yeah, I was just looking at those, and I was just like, huh, that's a possibility. That could be a thing in the future to do coins.
Yeah.
I was just really kind of like bewildered. You know what I mean? Like I was just like, really? This isn't. There's a market. There's a small market for people that want metal coins that are fantasy based.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's very strange.
How do you? Yeah, that's a big That's going to be tough. Like, because you got to invest in getting these metal coins made somehow.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and not just that. You gotta invest. You gotta invest in a coin press, because like to make a coin, you need a metal thing to press down and make the coin, right?
Yeah.
And then there's certain types of metal too. Like some people offer certain types of metal and certain types of sizes.
Hmm.
So imagine that, right? It's like you have to like lug around you have to order a bunch of coins to your house and then ship them out.
Oh yeah, and the shipping's got to be crazy expensive because it's
Yeah, but you just add it in there,
metal.
right? Yeah, you just add it in there. Just be like, it's gonna cost you this much. Deal
Oh
with
yeah,
it.
you just
know
throw
what I mean?
money in there.
Yeah, you just say like you're paying for the shipping, not me, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But still, you have to do all the you have to weigh it all yourself though, right? You can't just.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Well, you usually if you're getting into physical orders and stuff, you have to pay it to be shipped to you first, and then you ship it out to people.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, that's usually the case.
You got to secure all your stuff, all this crap you made or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's gonna sit with you until somebody else.
I'm sure you can make a deal with somebody where it's like, hey, could you pay for a portion of the shipping if I get this much from you or whatever? Like if it's worth what? I don't know. It depends if you know people, I suppose. But
yeah.
But
regardless. Or you do a print on demand where they just do it based on order, but I don't know.
Oh no, that's not gonna work. For a coin, print on demand.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not like a T-shirt, you know what I mean?
And have one of these presses hanging around just in case. I don't know, maybe. Yeah. I don't know. That's crazy, man. But relief sculpting is a little bit different than just sculpting. Like, I was trying to make a shield one time that had a scene sculpted on the shield.
Yeah.
Just in the relief, and it was I was like, shit, this is harder than I thought it was going to be.
No, dude, there's a tutorial out there.
Yeah.
Made by Green Orb. You know that guy from Blizzard? French guy from Blizzard?
Yeah.
He has a tutorial by just taking a 3D model and just pressing it in a flat surface, but still retaining some of that 3D kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like a coin or some sort of emblem thing that was etched into a carved out of a a stone or steel or whatever. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what you do is you could do that. You could ZBrush on top of a flat surface, but what you're supposed to do is you make the 3D object and you just kind of project like a normal on a flat surface, right? And so you can retain all that 3D effect and whatnot, and proportions as well,
Yeah, I did. I went through that tutorial when I was doing it, but my issue was that my shield I was making was curved. It was not a flat shield.
Oh.
So I'm projecting a flat thing onto a curved thing, and then at the edges it just starts to just taper off and just go away.
What you would have to do is you would have to do it on a flat surface and then start curving the shield.
Yeah,
you know I mean?
do the shield curvature at the very end.
Yeah, you would have to do that first.
That could work.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah. I'm gonna start. You know what? I did executive decision here. I'm gonna start painting more.
That's good, dude.
I think what I want to do is I was thinking about it, it's like I want to have physical stuff, physical pictures. Because you've been seeing Gavin's pictures? You've been seeing his Instagram shots?
Photography is out of control. Yeah, he's getting.
Yeah, he's getting good. He's getting good. And I'm just like, shit. Well, I already know somebody that's pretty decent with a camera, and like now I just need to
Yeah,
3D
yeah.
print this shit out and get it painted. But I was like thinking like, if I just practice a little and get a decent technique down, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many tutorials out there, and there's so many like cheap and easy ways to make stuff look pretty darn good. And
Oh
so,
yeah.
like today, I'm going to be doing some painting today. I got to go to the dollar store and pick up some blue tack so I could stick it to a base so I can like, don't handle it with my hands all the time. And yeah, so I'm gonna do some. I already have some stuff printed out here and some stuff already primed, and I'm just gonna test out some weathering effects and some dry brushing techniques to try to get
Mm-hmm.
some interesting things that's like nice looking, but also pretty easy to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for
And
sure.
yeah, and then do some photography with Gavin, and I got Photoshop skills for days, so I can always brush up on that too. Brush them up in Photoshop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. That'll be good for your Kickstarter to have a few like physical like real world photos. Some
Yeah,
product
no,
stuff,
totally.
right?
Product shots. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Product
yeah.
shots.
That's cool. I'm sure Gavin would do it for like, a bag of caramelized popcorn chips. So,
Caramelized popcorn. Yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, so I decided I'm going to do that, and also I think it'll be good to also, because I'm like I said, like I burned myself out again, and
damn.
I keep telling myself like, oh, you got to like do other things, but then I have this number looming over me, right? And it's like, got to get much work done, and then I like hurt myself in the process.
Well, that's the other thing. Look, like we talked about this is that you got to have that number, but you also have to have like a few milestones towards that number where if you meet those, then the pressure is off for a moment because you know that logistically you can do it. Whereas if you
Yeah,
just have a number up there and it's a big number and you know, yeah, it's just like, well, it's just scary, right? It's like, oh
yeah,
shit. That's why they put, it's why when you're driving to your to the city from your home out in the country, they put like signs that tell you how many miles you got to go because it's like could be like how long am I driving here for? You need to know kind of where you're at any time, so you know whether you need to drive faster or whether you can ease off the gas and take a pee break.
that's a good point.
You need to schedule in pee breaks, Antoine.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Or
Yeah,
I do something that's beneficial but different towards the cause.
that's also good. Yeah, yeah, that's I guess why you're thinking about this photography stuff, right?
The
It's like
painting,
a
you mean?
break. It's a break from the physical act of making these models, but you're still towards the goal too.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah,
Do
for
it.
sure.
You got
Yeah,
there's a lot of other shit you got to do. Like we mentioned, like your Kickstarter page has got a lot of graphics on it. What is going to be your presentation style?
yeah. I have to make some sort of write-up thing, some sort of like I'm still trying to like carve a story out, because I've been reading that book on what's it called, marketing, and it's talking about story and writing and stuff like that, and how you market your stuff you're trying to sell. So I'm trying to figure out how I can tell a story of what I'm trying to sell.
Do you have a laptop or a tablet or anything?
I got a tablet.
Because if there's any way you could like do this portion of your work at a coffee shop or in a different environment, I don't know, in a park or something, like
Oh no,
that might
absolutely.
also
I'm
break up your day.
definitely not going to do that.
No,
No, that's not me.
but finding a way to get out of your you know chair in your little room,
It's
your
not that
3D
little.
printing room, all right, medium sized room.
Okay.
I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I like to do. So, like when I was doing, I'm in the office all week, and I don't know. And then I come home, and I don't know. Sometimes I'm in my home office, and I'm just like, oh, I need to be out amongst strangers in the world, and I'll take my laptop and go to like Starbucks.
Do you get anything done?
Yeah, yeah. I find I get more done because
Really?
you just have less distractions at your disposal, right?
Hmm.
If you want food, you have to pay for it, so you typically don't do that. Um, you're like, I've just got my laptop, so I can't put a YouTube video on. I have to listen to music, and so I'm not going to get super distracted. I'm going to be a little bit more. I don't know. Maybe it depends on your personality as well, but maybe you're the type of person that there are other distractions in it, out in the world that would affect you that don't affect me. But yeah, I find the change in setting, refreshing, but I'm still able to kind of stay productive and
That's why I always go for walks.
go on somewhere. Yeah, you could. Yeah, well, yeah, going for walks is great, but I'm just trying to figure out ways to break up your day and stay productive, right? Kind of do two things.
Yeah, well, uh, I suppose
Not
so.
you,
That
not
makes
you.
sense, but uh, I there's no reason for me just to not sit down and do the work. Because
Hmm.
9 times out of 10, if I just sit down and actually like push through the first like 30 minutes, I can actually get something done, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
if I am really burnt out or whatever, or I can't do whatever, then it's not about doing work somewhere else. It's me. It's the problem is the work then, right? I need to like create some distance, right?
Hmm.
So like this weekend, I watched a couple movies. Watched Spider-Man Entering the Spider-Verse, which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
amazing. I thought that movie was incredible. It was written so well, and I thought it was. I just thought
Yeah,
it was
dude.
really good,
It
and
was a
it
good
just
movie, and it was a Sony Spider-Man movie, and it wasn't a Marvel movie,
yeah, yeah.
so it was
Marvel can suck a fat one.
pretty.
Uh,
Yeah, it was kind of surprising in that way, but it's good. That's a good sign, I think.
but I think it's really important to like watch and listen and like find stuff that's inspiring.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean? Because that
yeah.
it will help you. It will get those creative juices going, or at least get you out of your like slum. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I know some people might say like, oh, it's like, well, what happens if I don't, have a creative thing to watch or whatever? It's like, wow, if you have the internet, you got it, all to your fingertips. You know what I mean? And it's all free pretty much. So,
Oh
you,
yeah,
you know,
it's just a matter of coming up with what to like, where to, you know, what to look at. Like, what's you got to find the content, you got to stumble onto it somehow, right?
yeah,
And like, there's a lot of cool stuff that I get exposed to from Gavin or somebody like that sharing it to me, or just randomly, or like I have to go to a convention and find like some kind of project that I'm into because like otherwise I wouldn't have. I just you wouldn't know to just Google it.
yeah.
Yeah. Like there was this really beautiful game called Cat Quest, and like I was like, why would I would never just find Cat Quest. I'm glad I did because like the art in it made me want to just make another map, like another
Yeah.
world map thing, and I was like, oh man, so good. They did such a good job. But
Yeah,
it
no,
was like
totally.
it felt like it wasn't. I felt like it was work that I couldn't physically do. It was just artwork that I wouldn't have thought to do, and so that was kind of cool.
No, yeah, no, I think it's important to. That's another thing. It's like you still need to step back and live a bit
Yeah.
and get reminded, get humbled, I guess you could say,
Hmm.
on your journey towards your creative goal
Oh, you know what
or
might be
creative
good?
endeavor.
I'm just thinking out loud here. Like maybe if you, I don't know if there's anywhere, there might be somewhere by Saperton or something, but like maybe take a trip to do a tour of like a plant or like a gas one of
Uh,
those
a gas
gas
station? Oh yeah.
yeah gas station. No, like
I've thought about that, like a power
or
plant. A power plant.
power plant, gas plant, even a brewery you might find like just with the weird fucking like the process of brewing beer in like those big giant vats and tubes and steam whatever's.
Yeah,
Even that, who knows? That's
for
probably a lot
sure.
easier to find.
I've thought about that actually. I thought it'd be really interesting to get somebody's like nice camera and
Yeah,
just take some like nice photos of just like reference and stuff like that. But the thing is like that's great and all. That's like more reference and stuff like that. But it's I can search. That's at my fingertips. You know what I mean? For
so, I mean, well, you can Google image Greece, but until you go there, you're not going to get the full experience of what Greece is.
that's true. That's a really good point actually. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I can't talk my way out of this one. You're right.
I'd go with you
Yeah.
for multi.
But that'd be really random. Just two dudes. They're like, hey, can we look at your power plant? Can we just like have a tour and just take a bunch of
Yeah,
pictures?
yeah, yeah. Let's do a tour of like a power plant. Like, fuck, you probably learn stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And then also like you learn like I guess like names and stuff like that, so you can like just have like start naming these pieces more properly instead of just
Yeah,
being
that's right.
generator B A, generator B1, generator B2, generator B3,
Yeah,
generator C
exactly.
A. Also
Yeah,
just
you could
just
have
boring
cool
names.
names like this is the power core activate initiator, and then over here you've got the energy filtrator device.
I think my naming convention's a little better. Uh, no, the art gallery. The art gallery is open for free by donation on Tuesdays or Thursdays. I can't remember. Tuesdays or Thursdays. I think it's Tuesdays in
Yeah,
downtown.
yeah.
But I can't justify going downtown every Tuesday.
Hmm. Depends on what exhibits there. Some
Yeah, it's
exhibits,
true. There's some dog shit down there sometimes.
yeah,
There's some like, oh, okay, I get it. You're an artist.
not my
You
jam. Last one I went to was all log cabin artwork. It was just all log cabin themed, and they had some were set displays, some were paintings.
weird.
And, that was good. After about 20 minutes, I was like, okay, good. Log cabins have been digested.
That's usually how long I think a gallery should take you is about 20 minutes. You know,
Yeah, I guess so.
20 or 30 minutes, depending on what you're looking at or what you're doing. I went to one with my sister, and there was literally one exhibition was just a person stacking things. There's like one's like just pots, like metal pots, just
Oh,
stacked,
okay.
and like one was just tape decks stacked, like spiraling. It's just like, all right, okay, I guess it's kind of cool, you know. But they did have a sketch from Picasso, and I thought that was pretty fucking cool that they just had like this random sketch of Picasso. I was like, oh, this is like one of his like fucking sketches of just like him doodling. I was like, this is pretty
Yeah,
neat.
that's pretty awesome. That would be really cool to see.
He was crazy, man. He used to buy everything with sketches.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would like buy his coffee with a sketch because he was like Picasso, and like his sketches were worth thousands and hundreds of dollars, right? So we
Mm,
just buy everything with sketches.
that's wicked.
Yeah.
Dude, so he actually made it big before he died. That's
Oh, oh yeah,
rare, right?
yeah, for sure. Yeah, and then when he died, his stuff was even bigger then.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say?
Cool.
Oh yeah, and then I watched a documentary, and I watched what's it called again? The Journey documentary called "Don't Stop
Amazing.
Believing." Journey, and it's
Oh,
it's
yeah.
it's when they have that Filipino guy, and they discover this Filipino guy on YouTube, and they're like, let's just fucking invite him down to Los Angeles or San Francisco, and like he'll audition and see what happens. And then he was so good that he was a member of Journey. Do you know about this story?
No, I'm
You
not.
don't know about
I'm
this,
not speed on Journey's journey.
dude. So this guy, his name's Andrew, I think his name, the Filipino guy. and I don't think that's his name, but it starts with an A. But anyways, he sounds exactly the same as the original singer from Journey. You know what I mean?
Oh, they wanted to replace. They were cool with replacing somebody with who's just like kind of mimic that sound.
Yeah. Well, no, like the band Journey was like made
Yeah.
before
What
the
did he
singer was
die?
actually. No, he's still alive. His like voice went out.
Oh shit.
And anyways, like Journey was created, and it was already a band before the actual singer was there. So like the band was already there before the singer, and they still wanted to like perform and stuff like that, and still like tour, and so they just were like searching all these different like people that were doing like cover bands and stuff like that, and cover singers and all these
Yeah.
amazing artists, and then he just the piano player, and he's also like the songwriter as well. He like came across this dude in the Philippines in Manila, and he was just like, this person is just too good to be true. And then he like goes on tour, and he's still with them too. Like, he still tours with Journey, and he still sings, and he sounds amazing. And what I thought was interesting about that, like, it wasn't that crazy. Like, it wasn't one of those documentaries where you're like, wow, this was such a ride, this documentary. But the whole time, it it was it wasn't just like, it was a fairy tale. You know what I mean? Like, he's in the Philippines. He's pretty much dirt poor. Like, he like does like 2 gigs a week at a bar singing Journey songs, and he gets paid for that. You know, he lives in a little tiny house, and he has his little family, and he gets, you know, contacted by the lead guitarist from Journey. You know what I mean? Saying like, "Hey, you want to try out for Journey?" You know, that's insane. And he's all the way in the Philippines, and he becomes an American rock star, right?
Yeah.
And but what was interesting about it, like the whole time, he was constantly a professional, and he was constantly like on his A game, and he was constantly like very um like there was it was just a prime example of like, oh, even though you make it to the top, the work gets harder and it doesn't finish. Like, it was showing like him like touring, and like tried like had to be like healthy, and had to like sing regardless when he was sick and stuff like that. And like, it was like even though he got this great opportunity, he still had to go head on and like, you know, struggle and fight and like be on top of this thing. You know what I mean? So it was just like, it was very inspiring. Like, even though like he got this once in a lifetime opportunity, he still had to work really hard for it while he was in the pocket. You know what I mean? And so it's just like, man, that's cool. I gotta do that too. Like, even though, like, if I have a great
Did you hire a
opportunity,
Filipino singer?
shut up. You know what I mean?
Oh.
So yeah, it was just cool. It was just like, I don't know. It was just really uplifting. It was really like encouraging, you know. So
That's a good story.
it was nice. It was very heartwarming. And like I said, it wasn't like an amazing documentary. It wasn't like, that's this. It was a super crazy story of what happened. It's like, it is a super crazy story, and the story was just kind of like, yeah, everything's awesome. Everything's fucking awesome, but he was a constant professional, and he was constantly like humbled, and was like constantly working at it, even though he could have like just like fucked off in the middle in between this tour, because he did this crazy tour like around the world with Journey, and he could have easily just like fucked it over and got back into drugs, and got back and just like, because he had at the time he had a wife and stuff.
Drug background?
Yeah, he had like a drug and drinking background as well. You know what I mean? So he could have easily just like you know, fucked that all up, but he was just a constant professional, and also like he dealt with the pressure so well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, well, shit. I don't know. Yeah, not everybody who's like doing drugs is like this kind of. He's like, seems like he's, I don't know, maybe he's not doing it for the sake of doing it, but he's, you know, perhaps depressed about his life. But then when your life is exciting, it's like there's no need anymore. And when he's like excited about his path, he's just like,
not just that,
not even a thing.
he this was like his like third attempt. This was like his like, you know, third time's a charm, because like he came from just like performing at like he grew up on the streets pretty much because his mom died at a young age, and that his both working parents, right? But once his mom died, like they couldn't afford anything because they were both like poor peasant workers, right? And they lived on like a two income house.
Yeah.
And then there was only one income coming in, and so like the kid had the Journey singer, he had to like leave, and essentially what he did was for the longest time he would sing at burials, like he would sing at funerals, and he would sing on the street, and then after a while he got a band together, and then he was like, oh, I'm gonna try to like start my own band and stuff like that, and then he went to like China for like 15 years and nothing happened, and then he came back to the Philippines, and then he just kind of kept singing there, kind of thing, and then he got like started settling down with a small family, and then Journey calls. You know what I mean?
That's some RNG right there.
RNG? I don't know what that means.
It's like when that's just luck, basically.
I don't think it's luck. It's definitely not luck.
Well, Journey had to be there and see him.
No. They saw him on the internet, first of all. But
Oh.
this is the thing though. Like, okay, yes, there's luck on that, but he had to be that good at time, still that good,
Yeah.
still doing the damn thing. You know that takes hard work. You know what I mean, and that takes skill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he could have easily just like fucked off and didn't continue singing and just like half-assed it, and then maybe whatever.
Yeah. Like maybe he was addicted to drugs, but there's definitely some dedication there if he's skilled enough that he's making it onto YouTube, and people are noticing his talents.
No, he wasn't making it on YouTube. He wasn't making a career on YouTube. He was just putting it on YouTube.
Was he viral or something?
No, he wasn't viral anything.
Okay.
Journey was just searching for a singer, and he just came across a guy singing Journey songs, and it was.
So it is RNG.
I guess so.
All right. Well, I don't know. Anyway, well that's cool. But
anyways, that's cool.
Yeah. I was gonna say something, but I don't think it's relevant anymore, so I won't. I'll just stare blankly into the screen as you drink your beer.
It's water, dude. It's water.
It's a growler of pure water. Yeah. Oh.
How was the living situation when you were out there sleeping with 5 other dudes?
Too bad. I was sleeping with my friend Mark, who's not 1,000 pounds and not a smoker. So I think I had the best situation of anybody there. It was like
I can't believe you're sleeping in a hotel room with, was it 4 other people, including yourself?
4 other men.
And then you, so they're 5.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I think it was only Jared and I that showered daily, so it wasn't as much of a rush for the shower in the morning.
Oh my God. Are you serious? That's gross. So that means 3 other people didn't shower?
I mean, they must have showered at some point. So the first 2 or 3 days, I was like the first to just shower and leave.
Yeah.
Get out of there. I started sleeping in towards the end, last couple of mornings.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I don't know. I don't know their whole morning routine, but yeah.
Jeepers.
I don't know.
Damn, dude. Did you buy a bunch of cool shit and brought it back with Jared?
What did I buy? I bought some metal dice, some real heavy metal dice. Not heavy metal themed.
I understand what you're saying.
Made of metal, and they happen to be heavier than normal dice. So I'm going to probably include those in like some of my product photography for scale and stuff. And what else did I pick up? I did pick up stuff, some board games. I can't remember. They're kind of obscure, and I don't even remember what they're called right now.
It was just impulse buys?
A little bit.
Clearly you can't remember the name.
Yeah. Well, the publisher, the publisher was recommended to me by a friend who owns some of the board games, so I was like, I'll just pick up the one that I think looks the coolest and looks like I could play with my friends. It's like, oh, the 4 players, okay, looks like.
Isn't it funny how still, even though we're older and more wiser, you still end up buying the thing that's the coolest? You know what I mean? Like, this looks like the coolest. I think I'll like this, so you buy it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's, what's cool to me isn't cool to everybody else. So it's you're your own person. I did buy other stuff. I bought some gifts. I bought Sam a shirt, and I bought my brother like a Magic the Gathering mug because he's really. I wanted to get him like some exclusive cards, but they didn't have any. Like Magic didn't have exclusive like games.
There was no.
It was all just like kind of merchy, sort of like sleeves and.
There wasn't private dealers there. Private sellers.
What do you mean?
Well, private sellers of Magic the Gathering stuff.
It was like the Magic situation. There was a lot of tournaments, and the guys entered some tournaments. I didn't enter any tournaments, so they were selling like decks for the tournaments, but they weren't anything you couldn't get anywhere else.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like private sellers for cards, like there's
like selling their rare cards or something.
No, there's like people that own shops, right? And then they'll go to like conventions and like sell their library.
There wasn't any like kind of random like card or like game stores, like sometimes you come, if you go to like a convention here, you'll see the local game shop will have a kiosk booth and they'll just sell all kinds of shit. There was none of that. Every booth was like a specific company selling their specific thing. And there weren't any. There were a few board games that were basically card games, but they weren't trading card games where you're like, buying pack after pack after pack after pack, opening it up.
Dude,
it was only like Magic.
I'm so glad I don't play Magic anymore.
Yeah, dude, it's you guys can keep up with that. That's crazy.
No, the people that do keep up with it, it's like, man. Okay, good luck to you.
Yeah, I've got a lot of Magic cards.
I sold all mine.
I tried to just give them away to my brother. I was like, just take them. He's like, he's into it. He just looked through them and grabbed the good ones and just left me with all the shit.
You shouldn't have said that. You should have said, hey, there's some good ones in here, but you got to take everything. That's what you should have said.
Yeah, right. I know. I thought he'd just be happy to just take them all.
Nah, because he's an experienced Magic player, right? So he's just like, I don't want all that other shit. I just want the rare shit, so I can build around it.
So if any, just message me if you want a package of useless.
No, I don't want your garbage.
Yeah.
I would say, well, if none of it's useless. Sorry, if it's all useless, you might as well just like throw it away, pretty much.
What I still want to do before I just, I don't know, give them away for $1 is I want to go through and find all the artists who I recognize in there. Like the Pete Moorbachers and the Dave Raposes and the.
Oh, who's that one fucking artist that's like really good in Magic the Gathering? Asian dude, Jason something. I forget, but he's like amazing. He makes amazing cards. I don't
know.
But yeah.
If you
find a lot of good cards,
message me and I'll see if I have any of his cards. Because these cards are not new. Like these are probably like 9-year-old or more. Like,
oh yeah, this Jason fella probably made a couple back then.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go through the deck one more time, and maybe if I find enough that I have like cool artists in there, maybe I'll make like a collage out of it or something like that, and make frame something nice out of it, and then beyond that,
you wanna get.
I'm done.
You want to frame nice rare cards, no?
Well, that's the point. I know I don't have any nice rare cards because my brother took them all.
Yeah.
I just might have like cards with card art on them from some artists who I feel are dope. Mm-hmm. And in that case, I think those cards are worth retaining. Sure. And then maybe I could do something with them.
For sure. Yeah.
And then I could go get them signed. by all the artists that are on there.
I don't know about that.
I mean, I could. I don't know.
The odds of you seeing one of those artists now is probably really rare.
Maybe.
Like the only way to find them would probably be at some sort of convention with their own booth kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I wasn't seriously considering that.
I figured not.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work, goddammit.
Mm-hmm. But it'd be cool to, it's worth. I think it's worth holding on to some of those cards.
Yeah, man.
Anyway, I don't know. Who cares?
Like I have a bunch of fucking stupid like little knickknacks here. I got this stupid knickknack right here in front of me. I'm gonna take it out of its box.
That's why I don't have much to say, right? Because I'm trying to cut down on the stupid knickknacks. There was lots of stupid knickknacks to be had. That is a stupid knickknack that you just put in front of the screen there.
Yeah, no, it's a fucking San Andreas poker chip. This came in a magazine, and it was like a thing where it's like if you get a blind dragon, there's a dragon on the back, and if you get a blind dragon, it's like it was just like an illustration of a dragon wearing sunglasses and have a blind walking stick. And if you get that dragon, you win like a BMX bike. And I was just like, I just want that poker chip. That's a cool ass poker chip. So, and I just kept it ever since. So.
Yeah, you should get rid of it. It's stupid.
No, I love it.
All right.
Sorry, I cut you off. What were you saying? You were talking about all these knickknacks.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to not grab knickknacks because there was a lot of knickknacks to be had, like foam swords and masks and like pins and lanyards and like lots of that kind of stuff. But I'm like, oh, that's not great stuff. I'm just gonna sit in a drawer and then I'm gonna throw it away in a year, 2 years, or whenever I move next. Yeah. So I don't know. Good on you, but I'm really picky about my swag now, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm
takes
just
up space.
It.
Takes up space. All that shit takes up space.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, we're getting into the business of taking up space. You know what I mean?
For sure. Well, I almost bought some miniatures. I was really close to buying some miniatures.
Oh, why didn't you?
I don't know. I just wasn't sure what I would use them for.
Give you an excuse to start painting.
Yeah, but then that's what I was thinking. I could practice painting on these things, but then I'm like, I should just paint my own shit.
Yeah. Or you should just practice on cheaper things, right?
Yeah. Practice, things that are free, that I'm printing anyways.
It's true, yeah.
So that's what I'm going to do. Stay on course. Don't get distracted by shiny little things. That make me poorer anyways.
Yeah, man.
And, there's people out there who will really, get more out of those those miniatures that I was looking at anyways. Because I didn't even own the game that they were, designed for and stuff. I just thought they were cool.
Yeah. Some people that's what they do. They just like painting miniatures. They don't even play the game sometimes. They just like painting stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So since you're back from PAX and you've exerted all your nerd energy,
I did.
What's the plan? What's the plan for this week?
This week, yeah. That's a good question. I don't know. I keep thinking of new things I want to do, but you know what? Yeah, I don't know if I talked about this last time, but I've been there's one art project I've been procrastinating about, and I think I need to start doing it, but I've been afraid to do it.
What is it? I don't think you talked about this.
My cousin wants a tattoo. He wants to get a tattoo. He wants me to draw.
Tattoo.
So I'm like, man, that's a lot of pressure because for one, it's not even my main designing. Well, obviously, I've never designed a tattoo before.
I've done that, and people have got the tattoos, and I'm just like, well, that's on for your body for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, exactly. It's a lot of pressure, right? And it's like not some stranger. It's like somebody. It's like my cousin. So every time I see him, I'm gonna see it. And so,
and then he'll say like, my cousin designed this, and he'll point it out and stuff. And
Yeah, it's that I don't think he's going to be obnoxious. He's not that type of person.
yeah.
It's going to be more about like if I see any flaws in
Do
it.
you want to do this project though?
Well, I wanna. I don't know. It's not. Well, it's not something I would do if he didn't ask for it.
So this is just out of your goodwill, and you just want to be nice to your cousin.
Yeah, I guess so. It's kind of like it's like it's not a portrait of his son. It's sort of like a fantasy like reimagination of him, like a representation.
Mm.
So I'm gonna take a stab at it, and I think I'll get a cool illustration out of doing it as well.
Okay.
And I'm going to at least take a stab at it before I say, oh, this is just too outside of my wheelhouse to tackle. And then, suggest he go do something else.
Go with a person that's actually a tattoo artist.
Well, I'm not going to be tattooing him. I'm not going to sit down there and draw.
No, I understand that, but like tattoo artists, they design tattoos in mind with body parts. You know what I mean? On how it will look in the shapes and will wrap around
the
body, right? So like they understand their canvas they're working on, so they know their limitations. They know what will look like what in which area, right?
Mm-hmm.
People don't take that in consideration. It's like I don't know. It's like somebody that's making a mural and then someone that's painting a miniature, right? They're two completely different canvases.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so you gotta be mindful of the composition and stuff. So I don't know. I'm gonna take a stab at it, and that's gonna be the next thing I do for a little bit here, and then yeah, then I don't know. But beyond that, I've got a lot of things I want to do. It's just not enough time to sit down and actually do it. I hate that feeling when I feel like I have a good idea and I don't have time to do it, and then I don't hit the point where I feel like, oh, that wasn't a good idea, and I'm glad I didn't do it. I hit the point where I feel like I get a new idea that is also good, and then it's like that also, I don't know if they're good, I guess, but at least they're worth making and exploring.
Write them down, dude, so you don't like forget about them.
Well, I sketch them. That's where I figure them out, is when I'm sketching, right?
Okay.
And then I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I think this could work. But they're just quick sketches, so it's like you don't fully know. So anyway, that'll be the next thing I do, and I've already done some sketches of it. And
how about a new mat?
What?
How about a new mat?
A new play mat?
Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm considering too. Like I was saying, I got heavily inspired by Cat Quest. I should put a link in the chat to that fucking game. Holy, man, their maps are dope. They're
All
so
right, then.
cool. They're so cool. Yeah.
All right, then.
Yeah. What about you? I guess you're just gonna keep doing the same shit. Take a walk. Get some fresh air.
No. I'm sorry.
Go to the beach.
Go to the beach. I actually walked the seawall yesterday with my friend.
Oh. Yeah. Your friend.
No, I'm just gonna keep on keeping on the thing, but then also, like I said, I'm going to do some painting today, and then also I'm gonna be doing some printing. I'm gonna do a big fucking print tomorrow, like a 20-hour print tomorrow.
Oh, wicked!
So I'm gonna start that tomorrow, because I still have some filament left on the thing. I still want to print out some smaller stuff to practice on.
Yeah.
And but then I'm gonna change that roll and fucking print a big mother.
And my roll's almost done. I got a eSun. I found the eSun 3mm roll, which are not easy to find.
Where'd you find it?
On the internet.
On the internet. On the black market of eSun.
Yeah. I found it in an alley to stab a guy. I'm stoked. I like your eSun. I like looks good. I hear good things about it. It's just not easy to find in the scale that I need, but I did, and so I'm stoked for it. And that'll be my next role. I still have, I'd say, maybe like I'm down to like a sixth. I could print several miniatures still, but
I can see the bottom of my
yeah,
I can see the bottom of my spool
yeah,
right now.
I saw one cool model of that on Thingiverse of a guy. You take your spools and he designs like just like a big printed space, and it's like a stone floor, and you put it on top of your spools, and then it creates like the stacked display case for miniatures. It looks pretty rad.
I did not understand what you were saying at all.
So you go through print. You've been
Yes.
printing for 6 months.
And you get your spool, your plastic spool.
Yeah, you run out of filament, and you're left with this plastic spool.
Okay.
And then on top, you can lay it on its side, right? And then on top of that, you lay down the print of the stone. It's like stonework.
Okay.
And it's like terrain. Looks like terrain. And then you can stack many spools on top, and it's like becomes a really dope looking stone display case for your miniatures.
Okay.
Every time you run out of spool, you're printing more miniatures, and but then you get more stacks.
I suppose so. I don't know what the hell it looks like, what you're describing. Like, I have an idea, but it just looks like garbage in my head right now. I'm just thinking, you gotta send a picture or something to me or whatnot.
I don't have a picture right now.
No, you don't. What are you gonna say? No, yeah. So that's what I'm gonna do, and I'm just gonna keep on trucking because, like I said, I only have 24 days to keep making more stuff for this Kickstarter. And that's not that much time when you think about it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's about it, dude.
Good. Well,
all right. We're winding down here. We gotta close this episode down. So here it goes. Thanks for joining us. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and hit the bell, and it'd be much appreciated. And if you have any questions or you would like us to talk about a certain topic, leave a comment and say, hey, Alex, talk about more Magic cards or something.
Please don't.
Please don't. Or
hey, Antoine, how about more journey stories?
More journey stories. I was really inspired. Anyways, we stream every Tuesday at 7 o'clock Pacific. So come and join us and see our beautiful faces. And that's about it. So plugs, where can we find you, Alex?
Yeah, Tiger Skull RPG on Instagram and Facebook / Tiger Skull RPG. That's where you'll find my RPG work. Working on getting it into more places than that. I'd like to really branch out and get it everywhere, but I'll do that later. Where can we find you?
Thanks for sharing that detail.
Yeah.
You can find me on Instagram on Forbidden Prints, and you can check out my cool prints and whatnot. And there's a link on there to Thingiverse.
I gotta add your Thingiverse link.
Yeah, add my Thingiverse link, and you can download some thingies.
And where can we find you on Facebook?
Shut up. Shut your fucking face.
Right. I just had that.
Fuck
I'll
Facebook.
add the Thingiverse link. I'll link.
Yeah, and then all that stuff. And yeah, and ArtStation, just if you want to see my professional work in the industry and some personal 3D work, you can go on ArtStation, just type in my full name. You see at the bottom right there. And yeah, so thanks for joining another episode of Playing the Artist.
Yeah. Thanks for me too.
All right. Anyways, I'll see you in the next one.
Bye-bye.
See ya.